Hi guys, here are the answers to our starter questions for today. So question 70, we have show that tan x over sine x is equal to 1 over cos x. So this is a trig identity. So we're going to start with the left hand side. So we have tan x over sine x. So the first thing we would do is we would change tan x for the identity that we know. So tan x is equal to sine x over cos x. So we're going to swap that in place of tan x. So sine x over cos x. And then that's still over that sine x on the bottom. So we now have a fraction in a fraction. So that's really messy. We wouldn't normally leave it like that. We're trying to get to 1 over cos x. So that doesn't look like it should. So the top fraction, that's sine x over cos x on the top line of the fraction. We need to cancel that out. We need to get rid of that. So because that top fraction is sine x over cos x, we're going to multiply the top by cos x. And whatever we do to the top of a fraction, we need to do to the bottom of a fraction as well. So we're going to do the same on the bottom line. So on the top line, the divide by cos x and the times cos x will cancel out, and we're going to be left with sine x on the top. And then on the bottom, we're going to end up with sine x cos x because we're just multiplying those together. So sine x cos x. Then all we need to do is just cancel that down. So we've got sine x on the top, and we've got a sine x on the bottom. So we can divide the top by sine x to get 1. And if we divide the bottom by sine x, we've got cos x, which is as we were asked for, 1 over cos x. Question 71 is just a bit of numeracy. So without using a calculator, find 17.5% of £90. So we want to break that 17.5% down into smaller kind of block amounts and try and piece it together. So first thing I would do is do 10%. So 10% of £90 would be 9. We could then do 5%, which would be half of that, so 450. And then we could do 2.5%, which would be half of that again, which would be 225. And if you add together 10, 5 and 2.5, we get 17.5. So all we do is add those three together. So 9 plus 450 plus 225 gives us 1575. Question 72 is an interesting one. It's a straight line question, but just given to you in a bit more of an unusual way. So for the straight line equation y equals mx plus c, when m is greater than 0 and c is less than 0, sketch a possible graph. So we need to think about what those two pieces of information are telling us. So if m is greater than 0, that is a positive gradient. So your line must slope up left to right. If your c value is less than 0, that's negative. Okay, so your c value being negative means that your y-intercept must be below 0, a negative number. So a possible graph just has to have a positive gradient, so sloping up left to right, and be crossing through the y-axis at a negative number. So something like this would be fine. Something like that. As long as the line slopes up left to right and it crosses the x-axis anywhere below 0, that would be a possible graph. And that's that question done.